Emma Pillsbury, the mentally unstable guidance counsellor from Glee. Yeah.
Next to my suicide note.
Listen, everybody, if you don't know what you're waiting for, a wedding was a wedding. It's a priest so ritual. Everybody promises to look forever, but you may have gone horrifying. When I heard her was followed by your friend, when suddenly you realize instead, well, then I'm gonna finish. She said, so thanks a bunch, but I'm not getting married. Go have lunch, cause I'm not getting married. You've been grand, but I'm not getting married. Don't just stand there, I'm not getting married. And go tell Will, but I'm not getting married today. Go, can't you go? Why is nobody listening? Goodbye, go and cry at another person's wake. If you're quick for a kick, you could pick up a christening, but please, on my knees, there's a human life at stake. Listen, everybody, I'm afraid you didn't hear. Do you want to see a crazy lady fall apart in front of you? You're going to will be ruining his life, and both of us losing our dead seats. Oh, do it.
Good evening. It's Saturday, the 26th of October, and it's dark out there. Yeah, just thought I'd say that. Right, we're just going to keep you up to date of what's been happening on our end. We've not vlogged, it seems ages since we last vlogged. A week?
Could be. Maybe a bit longer.
Yeah. So we just thought we'd just put this out there to say, yeah, we're still alive.
Just.
Luckily. And, yeah. So what we've been doing this week, not a lot really. We've both been feeling a bit tired, a bit wiped out, and a bit under the weather. And it all came to a head yesterday, really, didn't it?
It did.
So, go on then. Tell a little story.
Well, it's funny, but it's not funny. I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, just a routine appointment. Went there, sat in the waiting area, weren't we?
You was?
And I got a bit of chest pain. It was like heavy and tight. Wasn't active, I was just sat waiting. Got called into the doctors for the reason why I was there. Then he asked me if there was anything else, and I told him about the chest pain that I'd had in the waiting room, and he'd asked if I'd had it before, and I said I'd had it a few times and it'd been going on for a few months, but I never think about myself. I always put Pete first and the kids and my mum. I'm just on the back shelf, I just plod on, don't say anything, and just keep going. On the odd occasion, I have told Pete about the chest pain, but I don't tell him all the time because he whittles, he worries, and asks questions, like every 2 minutes, are you alright? Have you got chest pain? And I'm like, no, I'm fine.
You're short of breath.
Anyway, doctors, he wanted me to have an urgent ECG and some blood taken. So we went and sat back in the reception. Then a nurse came out and called me in. She took some bloods, which I hate needles. And I did the ECG, which took ages, didn't it?
It did.
Because one of the leads wasn't picking up, was it?
It looked like one of the leads weren't picking up. But we'll tell you about that in a minute.
But then she swapped the sticker.
Yeah.
I had the ECG. Had to go back into the waiting room and wait again. And then the doctor came back and called us back in again. And showed the ECG, which to me, it's squiggly lines. And he pointed to a line at the bottom. And he said that it looked like I'd had a heart attack or I was having a heart attack, and that he had to ring 999 and get an ambulance for me. So then we had to go back in the waiting room, to which I started crying.
And then we ended up in a nurse's room while we waited for the ambulance.
I phoned my sister up, told her. I didn't ring my mum because my mum whittles, she worries, and she's got enough on her plate because she's still trying to cope with the grief of losing my dad, her husband. So I made the decision not to tell her at that point. As Pete said, we then went into another room waiting for the ambulance to come, which it seemed like ages, but it wasn't, was it?
No.
they were asking questions. How did I feel? I'm like, fine, which I was. Walked out to the ambulance, got in.
The check's done.
On the stretcher, I had another ECGs, leads connected. And apparently every time there's a change in your heart rhythm, it prints off, and it just kept printing off. It said that my heart rate was not stable, regular, but when they did it manually, it wasn't. So that was a bit of concern. They didn't know whether to blue light me or just take me in. They telephoned ahead and told them. So got to the hospital, and the ambulance men went to look for a chair to take me in. Couldn't find one, and they were going to take me in on the stretcher, and I was like, I can walk in, because I felt fine. And they says, we can't let you walk in, we'll get into trouble. I said, well, I'll just tell them I wanted to walk in.
So eventually she gets in.
We get in. There's a nurse. She comes and talks to me. Again, did I have ECGs on again, didn't I? In there?
Once you got into the...
No, it wasn't. Because in there, they did my pulse. From there, I was taken into resus.
Yeah.
Which they put leads on me again. Did bloods again.
Bloods.
So I had a Venflon in just there. And we waited and waited, and doctors came in and told them about the heart problems I've got and everything. They've got BBC cameras there that I was dodging.
It wasn't BBC, it was Channel 5.
Channel 5, sorry, yes.
Actually making a programme called 24 Hours in A&E or something.
Yeah.
Which is currently going on Channel 5 at the moment. So cameras were whizzing round with people, like a director or whatever, taking... So whether he got us or not, I don't know. Just keep an eye on Channel 5. But basically, just to cut it a bit shorter, they wasn't sure whether they were going to keep her in last night.
I didn't want to, I was going out.
And Di was going out last night. And they managed to say, well, what we'll do is we'll let you go home as long as you promise that you'll attend.
Wait a minute, the problem was they have a blood test called a troponin
tea.
Chop tea, we call it at the hospital.
Yeah.
And it was raised. Now that shows if you've had a heart attack or not. So the first one was raised, and I had to have a second one because you have a repeat. And
then we had to wait an hour.
And that came back clear, and he said I could go home, didn't he?
Yeah. But we had to attend today, which was the Saturday, a thing called AMAC, which is like part of the AMU at Barnsley Hospital.
Where you get to see a senior consultant.
And they review what happened yesterday and make a decision whether to do further testing or
outpatient,
or as an outpatient, or to discharge. And luckily, she got discharged today. But it turned out that when the ECG was running, it was picking up a thing called an LBBB, which is a left bundle branch blockage in the heart, and the repair for that is a pacemaker. And funnily enough, Di's got a pacemaker, so what they actually was picking up was the pacemaker fixing the problem with the heart. Luckily we've got an appointment in a couple of weeks' time to have a pacemaker check, and he was happy to discharge her at this time and see, as long as we mention it to the consultant when we go to have your pacemaker check. So whether the pacemaker's running down or whether we need a new one, we don't know. We'll find out. It could be the leads, yeah. But yeah,
but I'm good. No heart attack.
No heart attack. You still feel tired, still feel wiped out a bit. And if she gets chest pain, she's got to make a note, and we've got to tell the consultant. Well,
we see 2 weeks. We've got another appointment, haven't we?
Yeah.
Rapid chest pain clinic.
Which is 2 weeks. That's how rapid it is.
But I did manage to go on my night out.
Yes, now this is a good bit.
And I went to see Derek Acorah, the medium.
Not Derek Acorah.
Derek Acorah.
Not off Most Haunted.
Yeah, he kept making references to that. If you get the chance to see him...
I shall put his picture here. Derek Acorah. No, not me. Here.
Go and see him. He is absolutely fantastic. We took my mum and the spirits come onto him. He has a guide called Sam and the spirits come onto him on his right. And he was on about this one gentleman that just walked on. And he was like, oh, bless him, he's got a big smile on his face.
And I'll put a picture there of somebody with a big smile on the face.
He said that his passing wasn't expected. He looked about 60. He remembers going in an ambulance and he remembers people talking. He could hear talking. But when he opened his eyes, his family was there. And his mum had gone for him.
This is on the other side, of course.
As we sat there and as he was talking, Derek just turned round and pointed to my mum and went, Margaret. And we were all a bit gobsmacked. The things that he said, I mean, Dad didn't expect to go. It was a shock to him. He was sorry that he's put us through all this stress. Lots and lots of things that nobody would know. My dad always said that my mum was his girl. She's my girl for eternity. And that came through last night. He asked who got the mad dog. And I was like, that's me. Because as you've seen, Bob is bonkers. And apparently he said, like, have you thought of taking him to training classes? And I'm like, no. Someone's gonna he's gonna send someone to help train him. It was on about a necklace. I had a necklace in my bag that's got some of my dad's ashes in it. I've got to put that somewhere high and Dad will move it, and when it does move I will know that Dad's been. And towards the end he said, oh, he's got a box of Black Magic. Black Magic is my mum's favourite chocolate. And he said that he is waiting for her. And he's going to follow her home. And before he left, he'd give her a wink. Now, apparently, when he was taken into hospital, my two sisters went with him. And when they were leaving him, they turned around to say night to him, see you tomorrow, Dad. My dad went, I love you. And he winked at him. So my dad actually came through and we met Derek at the end. He smells nice as well. Don't listen to that bit. But he meets everybody who stops and he gives them a hug. In fact, my mum was over the moon that she got a kiss. So he is one genuine person.
What I'm going to do now, as the vlog finishes, I'm going to put some photographs which he had taken.
Yep.
That will be Di and Derek,
mum and family, and
mum and the family. And I've got two clips which I got off his Facebook page, and I've just took an excerpt. How do you say excerpt? Out of it. A clip out of it. Yeah. And he talks about, he's actually at a place called Melton today. And prior to him going out on stage, he did a thing on Facebook, a tour of the theatre is going on. And he did a talk on what happened last night. And he mentions my mother-in-law, Margaret, and...
not by name, he said a lovely, lovely lady.
But he's talking about Margaret and the three sisters, or daughters. And, yeah, so this is him saying... You know, what happened last night. He doesn't give names, but a lot of the stuff he said last night, especially on Margaret and Di and the sisters, was nobody would know, because these were things that only they knew.
Yeah.
And So yeah,
So-
whether you believe or not, but I'm beginning to think there's something's there,
Yeah.
something. So there we go. So this is what pictures of Derek, and I'm going to wind this up now. So here's Derek, here's his little chat.
And there was one lovely lady, I mean, they were all lovely links, but one lady whose husband came through, and his wife and his 3 daughters were there, and what he said about, they were just blown away, you know, and they said they'd been waiting.
And end of our vlog. So hope to see you again soon.
Yeah.
And look out for our Halloween vlogs. Not sure when they're coming out. Halloween, I assume. But keep an eye out. And it's Di's birthday on Monday. So,
Spring chicken.
spring chicken, ah. So,
More like
bye,
an old rooster.
bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.